Welcome to Create and Orchestrate. Today, we're going to talk about who are these unlikely entrepreneurs anyway? I'm Marcus Whitney, and this is Create and Orchestrate. So today we're going to take a little bit of a break from talking about tips and tricks and guidance, and we're going to talk a little bit about the purpose of the unlikely company. So why are we making these videos, right? I had a conversation yesterday with a New York Times best-selling author who is very aware of the entrepreneur space. He knows about all the different authors and podcasts and things like that. And one of the topics that we came up with was to discuss was about just how saturated the entrepreneur market is. And what I said to him was, I said, look, man, yes, the entrepreneur market is saturated if you know about the entrepreneur market at all, right? If you are aware of entrepreneurship and you're aware of people like Gary Vee or, he's kind of the most prominent guy at the moment. Even Dave Ramsey, right? I mean, if you're aware of these people, yeah, then you'll look and you'll be like, oh man, everybody's trying to do the same thing. But what if you're not aware of that at all, right? What if you don't even know that Gary Vee exists? What if you don't even really know what the word entrepreneurship means? The unlikely company's purpose is to reach all of those people, which by the way, we believe is like 90% of the population of this country, right? People who, if you really ask them, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur? They have no idea. If you really ask them, what has been the impact that entrepreneurs have had on this country? They would have no real idea, right? Because they are simply a product of the narrative and the conventional culture of this country, which has been about going to work for somebody else, getting educated so that you can go to work for somebody else. And again, I'm not here to talk about whether that's good or bad. That is not the point. The point is that when you totally leave out teaching people about the important role that entrepreneurship has played in the history of this country, you are massively, you are setting them up to never have a chance to really tap in the true path to power in America, right? So something I always talk to people about, because I study venture capital, I'm seeking to kind of do a new form of venture capital at Jumpstart. One of the things I always talk to people about is that venture capital is not some new innovative path, that even in venture capital, you have generational wealth. A lot of people don't know that the first venture capital money, the first institutional investment that came into Apple came from a firm called Venrock. And the rock in Venrock comes from John D. Rockefeller's name. That is a descendant of the Rockefeller family. So we're talking about the most valuable company in the world today.
We started Apple in 1976. 34 years later, we just ended our holiday quarter with $15.6 billion of revenue.
Was invested in by the most valuable company of the 19th century.
John D. Rockefeller, king of Standard Oil. He had created an industrial empire and a personal fortune on a scale the world had never known.
The same power structure based on entrepreneurship has been controlling and running the table for 2 centuries. And we don't even know about that. We don't even understand how that game works. That's why the unlikely company exists, right? Because I believe that when I'm in incubators and visiting, different conferences or talking to people who have gone through accelerators, that in reality, that's a very, very, very small percentage of this country. That's a very, very small percentage of our population. Most people have no idea how this stuff works. And at this point are so intimidated by it that they just kind of assume it's not for them. It's too risky because they don't really understand it, right? That's the purpose of the Unlikely Company. We do these videos, we're writing these articles, we're working on this book, we're working on events, we do the Oasis Venture program, we go into prisons to meet with people who want to learn about entrepreneurship. The reason why we do this is because we believe that some of the best entrepreneurs have never even heard the word entrepreneur. That's why we do this. So I hope that this will just kind of stand from now for the future as like the purpose behind what we're doing here, right? We ultimately believe that this society will be so much better off when we spread the good news about entrepreneurship to segments of the society, the majority of the society that has no idea about what it can do for them and for their community. That's it. One love.